Hi everyone, this is Noah of Green Arc Reviews here back again, and today I'm going to be reviewing for you Interstellar. This was one of my most anticipated films of 2014, mainly because Christopher Nolan is one of my favorite directors working today. He is a remarkable filmmaker, and seeing him tackling on a subject like space exploration and wormholes really got me intrigued and extremely excited. And this film has surprisingly been receiving a very divisive reaction from critics and audiences alike. And from hearing that consensus, I was actually even more intrigued to see what he had in store for us. And if you were to ask me, Christopher Nolan has created a remarkable cinematic experience that, despite a few flaws here and there, is mandatory cinematic viewing for audiences and critics alike, because whether you leave the film liking it or not, you cannot deny that this is one of the most ambitious blockbusters of recent memory. Now, Christopher Nolan, as we know, is an incredible visual director, and for Interstellar, it's probably his greatest showcase yet, because the cinematography in this movie is incredible. The use of IMAX cameras blew my mind. There are some sequences in here where I was gripping onto my armrests because I felt so immersed with how the film was directed. And watching this in an IMAX theater, by the way, if you have an IMAX theater nearby that's projecting this film on 70mm, you have no excuse but to see it in IMAX, because this film just immerses you into the different worlds that we see. And also, this film would not work nearly as much if it didn't have a remarkable lead performance. And thankfully, with Matthew McConaughey, we get that. Here, he is in full peak McConaissance, if you will, giving his most human performance yet, because Cooper, his character, experiences some extraordinary things that almost all of us humans may never see in our lifetime. And seeing all these experiences happen, he serves as the heart and anchor of this movie, as we also witness all these incredible experiences before our very own eyes. And also, the heart of this film remains between Matthew McConaughey and his relationship with his daughter, because as he leaves Earth and goes on this mission, that remains the emotional heart of this film and keeps you going, trying to see if he can make it back home. Also, Anne Hathaway, Jessica Chastain, Michael Caine, and the rest of the cast all do a remarkable job. There's also a surprising cast member in this film that hasn't been shown in the trailers or the TV spots that I was legitimately surprised to see on the big screen. That was a great surprise to see, because I rarely get surprised in movies nowadays. And also, it is worth noting, yes, this film is one of the most ambitious blockbusters in recent memory. The things that this movie explores, the ideas that they have, is something that really got me invested throughout this entire film with its nearly 3-hour runtime. But as ambitious as this film is, seeing Christopher Nolan hit for the fences, you definitely see that there are some flaws here and there. Particularly for me, the third act, which I don't know how I fully feel about it. It kind of reaches a little bit too far, especially for a film that boasts itself as very scientific in its case. But then again, if you were to ask me, it didn't really bother me as much as some others have felt bothered by it, because to me, this is still science fiction, and knowing that it's science fiction, of course it can't be 100% accurate, but I still think I need to watch this film again to see where I fully stand on the film's final act. But besides that, this film cannot be dismissed for the ambition that it reaches, because similar to 2001, which, by the way, I think it's by law that every movie review for Interstellar has to mention 2001: A Space Odyssey, it really reaches for the stars, and many people don't know how to react to it. And if you were to ask me, a film like this, receiving such a reaction like that, you need to go check it out on the big screen. It really makes you think, and whether you leave the theater loving it or even hating it, it is one that is worth for discussions. It is a movie that I think will be discussed for years to come and will be remembered as one of the most ambitious blockbusters that we've had, maybe of this entire century. So if you were to ask me, Interstellar is a remarkable cinematic experience, despite a few flaws keeping it away from being a masterpiece. But you need to go see it for the incredible visuals, an amazing score by Hans Zimmer, by the way, and remarkable performances, particularly with Matthew McConaughey. I really enjoyed this film, and if I had to give this a grade right now, I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10. It might rise up on repeat viewings if you were to ask me, because this film keeps growing in my mind and I keep replaying visuals in my imagination throughout this film. So yes, Interstellar does receive my recommendation. It's not a perfect film by any means, but it's inspiring, ambitious, and it's mandatory for you to check this out on the biggest screen possible. I am Noah of Green Rock Reviews, and I will see you in my next video.